On a cold October evening, Amelia moved into the old house she had inherited from her late uncle. The house, with its creaking wooden floors and ivy-covered walls, had always been a source of family legend. Her uncle had been reclusive, eccentric, and fiercely protective of the place. Stories whispered through the family claimed the basement held secrets no one should ever disturb. Amelia, ever the skeptic, dismissed these tales as mere superstition. The first few nights in the house were uneventful. She busied herself unpacking, rearranging furniture, and marveling at the antique charm of the place. The house felt alive with the echoes of its history, the groaning pipes, the rustle of leaves against the windows, and the faint, almost imperceptible hum that seemed to emanate from the basement door. On the fourth night, Amelia noticed the door to the basement was ajar. She distinctly remembered closing it earlier. Shaking off a creeping unease, she secured it again, turning the lock with a sharp click. That night, she dreamt of shadows. They slithered and stretched, forming grotesque shapes, whispering incoherent words that seemed to burrow into her mind. The next morning, Amelia woke up to find the basement door open again. This time, the lock lay on the floor, its metal twisted as if it had been melted. Unease turned to fear, but Amelia's curiosity was stronger. With a flashlight and trembling hands, she decided to venture downstairs. The basement was colder than she expected, the air damp and heavy. The flashlight beam cut through the darkness, illuminating cobwebs, old furniture, and a faint trail of something sticky leading deeper into the shadows. As she followed the trail, she stumbled upon a mirror, a massive ornate frame covered in dust. But the glass wasn't reflective. It was black, like an endless void. Amelia's heart raced as she leaned closer. Her reflection never appeared. Instead, shapes began to swirl within the glass, dark, sinuous forms that moved with a sinister grace. A sudden knock echoed from the surface of the mirror, loud and forceful. She stumbled back, dropping the flashlight, which rolled to a stop, leaving her in darkness save for the faint glow from the mirror. A whisper came from behind her. It wasn't clear or human, more like the rustling of dry leaves against stone. She spun around, but the basement was empty. Turning back to the mirror, she saw something that froze her in place. A figure now stood within the glass, tall and gaunt, with hollow eyes that burned with a dim, unnatural light. The figure reached toward the inside of the glass, and the surface rippled like water. Then came the voice, deep and resonant, speaking words she couldn't understand, yet they seemed to resonate within her very bones. Amelia tried to run, but her feet refused to move. The figure stepped out of the mirror. Its form was impossibly thin, its limbs unnaturally long, and its skin a mottled gray. The basement lights flickered to life, casting harsh shadows that seemed to writhe and shift independently. Amelia could do nothing but watch in terror as the creature extended a hand toward her. "You brought me here," it hissed, its voice like the grinding of stone. "You opened the way," Amelia screamed, breaking the paralysis and bolted up the stairs. The basement door slammed shut behind her, the sound reverberating through the house. She didn't stop running until she was outside, gulping the cold night air. She called the police, but when they arrived, the basement was empty. The mirror was gone, and the officers dismissed her account as stress-induced hallucination. But Amelia knew better. She never returned to the house. Weeks later, the new owners moved in, unaware of what had happened. On their first night, neighbors reported strange noises, knocking, whispers, and the faint, chilling hum that seemed to echo from beneath the house. No one has seen the new owners since.